So, hey guys, thanks for joining us. Do you want to introduce yourselves and tell us what you do on Crater and what your role is working with the indie developers?
So I'm Russell. I'm one of the game developers and a community manager at Unit 2 Games.
I'm Adam. I'm another game developer and community manager at Unit 2 Games. And our role during the Indie Fund was essentially to assist the indie developers and run little weekly meetups with them to make sure they were all keeping up with each other and they could help each other out with any issues.
And tell us about Zombie Tag, which is the game we're looking at today.
So Zombie Tag is one of the games from a studio called FunSolve. It's an infection style game mode. So the idea is one or more players will start as zombies. All the other players need to run away and try and survive the round. It's actually, it's a really, really nice fun game that we like to play it quite a lot.
And what were your first impressions of the game and of FunSolve as developers when they first joined the Crater family?
So I think when we first saw Zombie Tag, we were quite impressed with how quickly they'd got to grips with the tools that we provide in Crater, and they made a very sort of concise game that worked really well and was quite polished. So it's got only a few simple core mechanics. So as Russ said, it's an infection game mode. So you have the zombies that run around and infect more and more players, and if there's any humans that survive at the end, then they win. But they put in a few really nice mechanics, things like the zombies are able to lunge if they left click or use the trigger button, which is a really neat mechanic and it works really well.
Yeah, and I think FunSolve themselves as developers were actually really nice to work with because they didn't really need a whole lot of help from us. Obviously, learning Crater as developers, they sort of dove straight in and they seemed to get to grips with a lot of the tools really quickly. So that was really nice. We jumped in and helped them where we could, but it seems like they managed to get to grips with it really, really quite quickly.
And are there any particular parts of the game that really stand out to you?
So I think one thing that really struck me about the game was the really nice environment design that they'd come up with. So the game is actually on a couple of different levels. There's a sort of underground subway and there's a few houses around the top. And they've got really nice bits of narrative storytelling within the art. So they've got things like, a skeleton on the toilet and just humorous little pieces like that, as well as around the edge of the world. They've got this sort of rift effect where everything is falling away and it looks like it's all breaking up at the edge, which looks really cool.
Especially in terms of level design, it seems like they've spent a lot of time really sort of concentrating on it. The map that they've made isn't necessarily a huge map, but actually what they've managed to pack into that small map is a lot of detail in terms of sort of hiding spaces and exploration and just that sort of fine level of detail. So, I mean, especially each time I've played it, I'm always seeing new things that they've got sort of stashed away, sort of little Easter eggs here and there. And as Adam said, the sort of the scene, they've really set the scene in a lot of different places.
And so you mentioned that you're impressed how quickly FunSolve got to grips with Crater's tool set. Have you spotted anything that they've been sort of really clever or inventive with that they made use of that you weren't expecting?
So one thing they did to sort of distinguish the zombies from the players is they took our sort of big pumpkin mesh and they attached that to the player itself. Using some of the sort of the Lua API to socket the mesh to the player. We know that's quite an interesting thing we hadn't done yet. And also during their development of the game, we pushed some new particle effects. One of them was a sort of a trail effect, and they attached that to the zombies as well. So actually, as the zombies move around, this sort of particle effect comes off the back of them. That was a particle we hadn't actually used in any games yet, so that was an interesting to see them sort of pick up that new sort of update from us and run with it straight away.
And as you said, the whole premise of the game is that kind of survival standoff between zombies and humans. So, Russ, if you were a zombie, what would be your top tip for surviving in the game?
So, I mean, the main thing for the zombies is to just keep searching, keep hunting. The humans, as we sort of said before, the level design is really nice. It introduces a lot of hiding places. So the zombies have just got to keep searching, keep looking, don't stop moving, and make use of that lunge ability and avoid the traps, avoid the bear traps.
And Adam, what about you? How do you survive as a human in the zombie apocalypse?
Yeah, so I'd have said the most successful rounds I've had as a human is where I find little nooks and crannies to hide in that they've hidden around the map. So, for example, one of the big houses right in the centre, I was probably the only surviving human. There were zombies running left, right, and centre, but I found a little nook in the wall where I could crouch down and watch them run past me, and it was pretty tense, but it was a really good hiding place.
That's great tips, thank you. So big thanks to Russ and Adam for joining us today and introducing us to Zombie Tag, which is one of the games you'll be able to play as soon as Crater launches later in the year. In the meantime, though, make sure you check out the rest of our Indie Creator Showcase videos and learn a little bit about some of the other titles that are coming up. And remember to subscribe to the channel as well to stay updated with all Crater news.